So hey, this is Prince Easy. Okay, so for the sake of the records, this is the part 2 of the previous video, which had these topics, right? So we shall proceed from hence. So let's see what we have in the pictures, right? So Picasso, what can be said? I don't know, a couple years back, I don't know, 4, 5, or 3, I don't quite remember. I saw this art guy. I don't think it was an art guy. I think it was Bill Cosby, if I'm not mistaken. And he's exposing the heck out of these supposed artists, right? And they have put in quotations his quote, a good artist borrow, great artist steal. And that's exactly what they did, right? That's exactly what they did. And there's ample proof out there, right? If you don't see it, then go to these, like the University of Dar es Salaam, there's a art thing, a school of art, right? They'll show you that there is theft, right? They stole from us and they commercialized our property and have gained wealth and has used it's bad, let's just say that. Right? This is what has been popping up. Okay, it's like a virus, it's like a virus. So you're telling me this country is giving up a port for $33 million? Do these people even know what what $39 million is? But hey, here they go. Okay, so further escalation. Like they say, if you move your equipment to Germany, we'll move our equipment somewhere else strategically in response. And apparently, it seems they're doing so. Here is where the PPP trouble comes, right? If they're producing their own things, then the pricing is gonna go wild sooner or later, right? For various reasons that they can justify, right? And it provide, okay? And the competition will even make everything worse. So there are some things that can work under PPP. For those who don't know what PPP is, it's a political thing over here in Africa where public and private sector partner up and stuff like that, right? So, and the issues of electricity, water, waste management, and things of sort, they are not to be left to people, right? To people in the private sector, because they do it for profit. So they will always want to take money out of the whole situation. Right? Now we have a new breed of weapon emerging, EMPs, right? My guy said even cockroaches can, right? So in rebellion of the embarrassment at these games, sports, women and men have been fighting back in their own ways. And of course, these demons cannot stand it. But people should ask themselves why. It was an interesting story to hear. I've heard it a couple times actually. A lot of atheists who consume mass-produced media, right, in all its forms. What got them to find Christ was the mockery, right? So these people always come out here in these Hollywoods and say, he's a joke, he's a nobody. But why do you choose a nobody as a punchline to your joke? You know, why do they do this? Why did they do that at the Olympics, right? But a good thing has come out of that whole ordeal. And it has basically woken up even atheists. Like now they are coming to question. So these people are telling us that they put all of this effort to this to perform, to find the costumes, to do the makeup, to film, just because they do not believe. So you're telling me that's why? Right? And others have somehow have found a way to bring Muslims into the whole picture, saying Muslims will not stand for this. They do not stand for this. I say, okay. I say, okay, yeah, that's them, and we all suffer for whatever decisions we make, right? We see over there in Europe, okay, how Muslims would react to that situation has actually cost them, right? And how Christians are fighting back. You fight back with the truth. You don't fight back with your fists. You just end up punching your own self. Yeah, you fight with the truth. Yeah? Especially when they do such things like that. You don't answer, act with, I don't know, a brow. Right? So apparently they are afraid, and they want Negroes out of their situation. It's actually unsafe out there. It's unsafe. People are advising each other to stay indoors, and there's even talk of people hanging from trees, right? That mess, I don't know if it's true, but it will come out sooner or later, as after the dust has settled. But now, yeah, imagine a nigger in a lake full of angry white people that believe you are the cause of their misery and their poverty, leaving them with only one option. They can let you go and continue living in their nation, so you either go back home or they kill you. Now, like I've said many times, my primary task in these end times, right, first is to collect people, to put people under one banner, right, under one banner for one reason, right? A lot of destruction is coming. A lot of destruction is coming. And that's the reason for the second Exodus, for you who have been searching and looking, right? God says he will not punish the beast system unless there is a divide. His people are, the wheat and the tears are bundled, right? And then the tears will be burnt. in the furnace, right? So there is a separation, and that separation is happening now, right? So all of these people who are going to have this mentality against black people, they're going to have a problem when it comes to their salvations. They've basically condemned themselves by their actions, right? They have been ordered to love thy brother, but they're doing the opposite. Hmm? It's true, right? But you are the news, and you are biased. Okay, especially this channel, it is biased. It is only viewing, I don't know, the opinions of the Arabs. Only the opinions of the Arabs. That's what they align themselves with, right? They do not sympathize with quote-unquote enemies, right? And they even use these words like martyrs, you know? You know what happens when you call those people who are killing each other in Gaza martyrs? Do you know what happens? It's like throwing, we use this example, throwing more fuel to the fire. So this is the trouble that we're talking about, right? In the high places in society, evil has taken over, right? Now we have this preacher here endorsing this, like he literally says in the scripture, a man will not dress in what is considered to be of a woman, right? So it remains relevant. Even in Africa, there are traditionally accepted costumes for women and men, right? Even within Africa, we differ, right? But there is a difference. There is no tradition here in Africa where men and women wear the same thing, okay? So these people going up there in the supposed pulpit and saying that basically God is drag, this is blasphemy. This is blasphemy. This is blasphemy. So we have to know that it's blasphemy and rebuke it from the scripture and just tell him in a straight face. So what do you say about this particular line in the scripture that says men and women will not cross-dress, right? And there's a lot of cross-dressing that has been occurring, right? Women are dressing like men and men are dressing like women more and more, right? So that needs to be looked at, right? So apparently there are two people stuck up there. And it's the cost to save their lives against the cost of going up there does not make sense. So I don't know if they'll abandon them or what. We shall see. Right? Even here in Tanzania, the police has been used as a source of revenue generation in one way or the other. And that's a dangerous position to put these people in, right? That's why there is a push. One of the reasons to push for the acquisition of traffic cameras is money, is a source of revenue, right? We know that these traffics, they forgive, right? So now, we're gonna put cameras and they're gonna send messages directly to people's phones, charging them. right? And somehow one does not expect resistance. Okay, I like to say these things and give warning, but usually people get it when the shoe falls. Mm. This is what is happening over there. And then a couple of days, this clip was going viral, right? So this woman here, a Hollywood product, came to Africa, and he was actually surprised that we have supermarkets. Like, what? She was so shook. Like, we had packaging and stuff. We had sorted out, the supermarket was like sorted out into sections, and she was shook. Like, I'm really concerned for you niggas. Like, what type of stuff are you consuming over there? You need to share with me. What type of nonsense are you being told? Eh? That this woman here is surprised. Okay, I don't believe her because she's a puppet. But this has been a recurring thing, so I think it's an issue, right? There's so much nonsense about Africa out there, so as you can look down on us, so as they can suck money out of you. So it's quite an operation they have going on. Right. Now look at this talk. Protection money. And this is mafia talk, where they let you operate in their territory. Okay, and this comes after the threat of my guy over here threatening these people, the company of TSMC, the chip manufacturing situation, right? Because that was their linchpin, right? They want to use that to go to war. Okay, but if China has a semiconductor revolution, then it is no longer a linchpin, so they have to find another one, and they are looking for it, right? They are looking for it. So I just found this story randomly. One of the benefits of migration, right? But my guy here has a really, really long story, right? He's Indian mixed with black. I don't even know if he knows it. Or, some people are in denial, right? And of course, over there in India, they are facing the same thing that the black man has been facing all over the world, the same hatred towards their fellow. They get hatred from their fellow countrymen, right? So, yeah, even India has a long story. Japan has a long story, and yeah, it's black, really black. And of course, look at that. Last time it was a whale downing a tiny ass boat. Now it's this thing just swimming around in the water, waiting to consume everybody that leaves Alcatraz, right? This was the experiment. That's what they did on Alcatraz, right? If I'm not mistaken. If it's not Alcatraz, then it's some island prison where they infested the waters with sharks intentionally. Right? So they're gonna do that to the entirety of Babylon. They're gonna infest the waters with sharks. So if you try to escape, yeah, they're gonna get you. So you can't escape in no dinghy. Nah, you gotta find a huge, huge vessel. So there's chaos everywhere. Okay, they just don't talk about it, and the problems are all the same here in Africa and over there. Unemployment, rising prices for commodities necessary for life. These are the two driving forces for the collapse of many, right? Like I've said in that previous video. Okay, we produce power, yes, we have power, we have food, yes, but can people afford the power and the food? Okay, right? This is where Babylon has failed, right? Babylon has provided buildings, employed people to work in these buildings, but has not enabled people to actually afford to go to these buildings to get these services. So they're just buildings, and sooner or later all of those people employed in these buildings are going to be unemployed. Right? They're going to be unemployed. Okay? So let me tell you something, people. I'm not really good with names and stuff. I don't remember names, but I remember faces, people. I remember faces. I don't remember names, but I remember faces, and there's something wrong with this face. I've never seen this face before, and I've seen the face of this guy many times, and something is afoot over here, right? They were lovey-dovey like 1 day ago, literally 1 day ago. South Korea was offering food to North Korea after the flood, and now you're telling me they have left the flood zone and they are somehow deploying ballistic missiles along the front line. What front line? There is no front line. There is no war. There is no front line. But they are gaslighting the situation, right? Yeah, that's the devil between these two countries. Just poking one side and poking the other, being a friend to one side, being the enemy to the other, at the same time being the friend to the other and being the enemy to the other, just for the sake of spilling blood. So as he can have the right to come over there and ruin everything, right? So let's talk about the greatest. Okay, remember the last video we talked about the agendas and how people who are finding opportunities in this market of the metaverse, right? The digital economy. As people are transitioning to the digital economy, let me tell you the realities of the digital economy. It's fake, right? So let me give you an example, right? We have a person who has been making money. He's literally the biggest person on YouTube, okay? One of the biggest people who make content of YouTube, making millions of views, making a lot of money. And do you want to know what was discovered about him lately? Some of his stuff are playing with children. Some of his videos were fake. They were literally designed to create excitement, to create views. But on the outside, they gave an impression that it was a real situation, you know, and these people who are reviewing these events, they're starting to wake up now like, okay, wait a minute. Why is it that everybody who has achieved the most in this economy has to have something that will literally destroy them, right? That will literally destroy them and their dirty habits with kids, or just straight up being harassing women and stuff like that. This is the trend. They're seeing this repeating theme over and over, over and over, over and over. Again, let me tell you this: this environment, the environment of the world today, is not at all conducive to a Christian boy or girl, for that matter. It's not conducive to a God-fearing boy or girl. It is actually hostile and rejecting. Hostile and rejecting, right? So what has also been happening is YouTube has been taken over by Hollywood, right? That people are waking up that people are not actually really, because the agenda is now in full swing, right? They were looking for the prince, they have found the prince, now they are just repeating the same movie over and over, over and over, and people are actually exhausted. So what do? They transition to YouTube, and of course they have to have an advantage over everybody because the game is not fair. So the biggest streamer, one of the biggest streamer on YouTube, Dr. Disrespect, you can literally enter that, Dr. Disrespect, Dr. Disrespect on YouTube. You can look at the whole scandal. Guess what? He was also messing with children. He has been taken down. The biggest game show host and, I don't know, prankster, whatever, he's been taken down. Right? The biggest vlogger also taken down. Okay, I'm seeing the literally creation of an industry. And as in the past, I was looking at this video. It was looking at how the whole industry, the oil industry in America, had evolved over time. So in the past, it was a family business, right? Families, houses, clans even, owned wells. Okay, and then they were bought. Those wells were bought systematically. At the end of the day, where we are now, it is basically a monopoly, right? And in case you didn't know, Google is also under fire for monopoly techniques, okay? It's a monopoly happening all over. You can look at Google and what Google is doing with ChatGPT. You can also look at what Google is doing with its terms and conditions for actually operating on YouTube, right? And it has been hostile, especially this year. Okay, it was hostile last year, but this year it is out there, right? It is literally out there. Yes. Okay, this mzee here, he's one of the biggest, platforms on YouTube also, and I know him. I've been following him for years. Okay, so I'm speaking these words from experience. Okay, so something really fishy is happening, and they're creating an industry because they see a lot of money in the near future, and they do not want everybody to have that money because that money is power. And this power will enable these people to create their own alternate situations outside of what they are offering. Okay, so they do not want that. So at the same time, they are kicking people who are not with them, with their agendas. Okay, people who are with their agendas, they will thrive. People who are not with their agendas, okay? The agenda is basically this: just turning good evil, evil good. That's their agenda, simply. Okay, and people are going to be kicked out because of these changes. And Google is very systematically, very, very systematically in its approach and its use of, my guy pointed out, like, you can't even use their product without agreeing to the terms and services, They do not give you a option to disagree and basically offer a basic package for the service, But they collect your data, they sell your data, they don't pay you nothing. And now it's gonna get worse, right? And this whole situation is connected to even what happened to Apollo's ear. What happened to Apollo's ear? It's all bundled, it's all together, right? It's all put together. It's a conspiracy, right? And it has been happening systematically, right? The search engines, Google, one of the biggest search engines on the planet. So for those people who live on the planet, right? Google is the biggest browser in the planet. So they literally have control over information, right? And now they're saying, we are gonna, on the first page of the results, people actually pay to appear in that page over the first page. It's a service, it's a privilege, okay? Appearing on that first page is a privilege that you pay for. And now they're saying, we are gonna only give priority to those people who basically they agree with. Those are gonna get recommended, and the people who do not agree with, they just put them in the back and make it harder for you to find it. Okay? It's literally mind control, mind control. So, yeah, it's terrible, right? So if you wanna have a YouTube career, yeah, good luck with that. Okay? Twitter X is gonna be for pay soon or later. Those people who are using it for business purposes, they're gonna have to be charged, and it's not gonna make sense, especially for a weaker currency here in Africa, right? We're not gonna have power online. We are not. That's just the truth. We are not, right? So we have systems like this. This is literally a service where they can offer you 1K followers or 300K followers by just paying money. You can pay money and they can generate followers for you. So like I've said, these services exist. These services exist. People have hundreds of phones connected and basically just waiting for orders. They can raise your views on YouTube, right? So the views are superficial, right? And that is just creating chaos in the entirety of the system, right? Because if everybody is practicing these moves, they do not want to grow organically. What's going to happen? What's going to happen, right? YouTube is going to owe more money than it's actually generating. So what would force them? What would happen? What would happen then? Right? So, finishing up about employment. Why are they doing this, women? There are a lot of these videos online circulating. Why are these women doing this? Well, it's because it pays. Views pays. It doesn't matter what you are viewing. Views pays, right? So yeah, welcome to the digital economy. I have said a lot of things in this particular video and I'd like to end there. Right, I just couldn't sleep. So yeah, Prince Easy signing out. Love you. Bye.